In this video, I'm going to try to go over how I made this snake. The best I can, anyway. Honestly, it was a lot of trial and error, and I started it probably about 5 times. I'll show you. So I used this smoke, and I used this snake, and I must have used this as the color map. I don't remember exactly. I guess that's what we'll use. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you've watched the basic videos. If you haven't, you can still follow along with this, but to fill in the details, just the video would be a little too long if I had to go into everything. So I'll start this out with the smoke, and we will use a white dot and a black background to begin with, but we're gonna switch that right away. Okay, so when I first got in here, the compositioning on Stipple, if you used it, you know it's not great, but you can do what you want. You can move stuff around. It's just a matter of like getting it all worked out. And I really don't. Let's see. I think it must. If I'm gonna try to recreate what I had done, so you'll already see that I'm bobbling around because this must have been something like this as the position for the smoke. So right now, what I'll do is I'm gonna delete this, but I'm just gonna. Whoops. All right. So right now I'm gonna flip this around so I'm drawing the black. I want to be drawing the black. So right now I'm gonna delete all this once I get going, but I just want to get the composition down. So down here, down in your draw image, now that I've done a repositioning, you can see the little reposition square icon in that draw image, and I'm gonna hit the three squares with the arrow pointing to them icon to push that to my gallery. Now I'm gonna click on I'm gonna click on the button again to get my snake in here. We'll do something like this. This isn't gonna end up how I had done it because I really don't remember the exact position of the. I guess we'll do something like that. All right. All right. So I think we can work with something like this. Actually, no, I don't. I don't think we can work. And you know the reason I'm not gonna start this video over because this is really how I did it. I moved the stuff around and I drew it a little bit, and then I drew it again. Let's see. In this case, we want to be drawing the white. And I just kept messing around with things until I got it the way I wanted to. So let's see. Maybe something like that. Yeah, that must have been what it was like. All right. Okay, cool. All right, and we want to be drawing the black. And again, we're going to delete this. This is just kind of showing you how you do some compositioning. All right, something like that. But still, we should tweak it a little bit. And by tweak it, I mean depending on what images you're using, you might have trouble lining this stuff up. And a lot of times when I'm drawing in Stipple, I'm just drawing, erasing, or trash canning, not erasing, until I figure out what exactly it is I'm trying to accomplish. Because as I was drawing this one, it was like I got into it, and then it was like the snake's head didn't take up enough of the frame. I mean, you always got to be thinking about the aesthetics, not just what Stipple's capable of or what you're capable of in Stipple, but also um, how the thing looks overall, right? It's not just if you can and what you can. You got to make it look good. All right, so I think that this composition is going to work. So let's go ahead and trash this, and I'm going to get my color map in there now that I've got those details taken care of. And I said we use this one. This is from GGZ Life Observation Deck. Go check her out. All right, we're not going to be able to get the color exactly how I did it in the how I did it in the example I showed, but that's kind of the beauty of Stipple, right? It's never the same. All right, so now I want my detail to be super fine, so I'm gonna make sure my left dot is all the way to the smallest, and make sure my right dot is pretty tiny too. Let's make my brush size small. We can turn the image on. Here's a time where you might actually want to use the ghost layer palette, because here's a time where we can go in here and click this eye icon on my color map just to get it out of the way, and then I can just focus on the snake itself. So as you start drawing the snake, you're like, hey, Atomic Labrador, in your picture, you didn't have all this white crap on the outside of the snake's head. And you're right. You're right, I didn't. Now here's how I did that. Go into your levels palette, and you can keep the A on for now. But if you pull the right hand slider out, you'll see that all of a sudden my white gets cut off. Because what happens is, by pulling the slider out, you're saying, I don't want anything past this certain amount of white. And since most of the snake itself doesn't hit that white, we still draw the whole snake. But since we've excluded the pure white areas, that white background of the snake doesn't show. Just to illustrate my point, you see this snake picture? It's got a big white background. So if you're doing this by default, you're going to get all that white stuff in there. So let's see, I'm going to do this a little bit. And then we're going to move. All right, so now I'm going to take this snake again. I'm going to push it to the gallery. You're going to want to make sure that you push your two draw images to the gallery once you have the composition set. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to go back to them. And really, the key of this is swapping back and forth between those images. So now I'm going to do I'm drawing. I'm going to pull my slider back out, so I'm drawing the entire spectrum, right? And I've got the black on the right because this smoke is black on a white background. I'm going to start drawing this in. All right. Now I'm purposely showing this. You might, if you notice mine, you might be like, well, if you notice my example, my snake mouth goes over that smoke. So here's kind of a cool trick. This is the first trick we'll be dealing with in this. And this is tossing your draw image as a mask and only keeping it there temporarily. And I'll show you why. So if we throw the snake in here, and now what we're going to do is we want to just draw the white end of this snake image. So in my mask, I'm going to hit my invert button, and I'll pull this out. Let's see, I'll pull this so I'm just drawing in the white areas of the snake image. And you'll see that all of a sudden now I'm not drawing in the snake's mouth anymore. Actually, I'm gonna undo that, and I'm gonna so you'll see that it's like I'm gonna toggle on and off just so you see how untouched that snake mouth is with this smoke right here. However, if you would run into the trouble of when you tried to draw up here, all of a sudden, like, you won't be able to get it. You might not be able to get what you need. So then you just hit this button to swap the mask off, and you really just use it when you're in that one section. You turn it on when you're over here, so you don't inadvertently draw in the snake's mouth, but then you shut it off so you can continue drawing the rest of your image. Okay. So this is pretty good. This is a pretty good, it's coming out better than I had thought. Let's see, what are we at on the clock? 11 minutes already. Well, it's still going to go on for a while. So, let's see. Now, you'll see up here, like, I accidentally drew too much of the snake. Now, a way you can get rid of that, and what I mean is, like, up here, we see this little bit of the snake coil that that doesn't really go with our image. So you can hit the the eraser, and if you don't know this, the eraser brush size is determined by this brush size control. Now, you really got to be careful, because if you start erasing, it's very easy to erase what you're not trying to erase, right? Now, so if you just kind of start from far away and gradually work your way in, you can get some pretty good results. So now I'm going to flop back over. I'm going to get the snake back into my draw image, because I think that we can add to it a little bit. Remember, we want to pull the slider out from the right a little bit so we're not drawing that white area. And there you go. Here's a mistake I made. I started to draw back again, but I hadn't selected the dots again, so I'm still in eraser mode. I'm sure you guys have done that before, right? So let's see, if I make my brush size real small, I can pick up a lot of extra detail. So I'll do that in the eye. I'll do that down here on the mouth. Alright, it's starting to look pretty good. Now, there's some things that you can do to blend the images together better. For instance, I can come in here. I can flip to the black, right? Invert your level or your threshold gradient. So black is on the right. And then go into your color and hit clear. And then you can kind of clear out, you can kind of draw the snake pattern onto the smoke area. See it kind of working its way through as I draw. As well as if we were to push the smoke into this and flip over this way, we could cut some of the smoke out of the snake. And all this does is it kind of just creates a more even blend as you're just kind of pushing the two images together, making sure they kind of take up the same space, use the same, kind of just trying to fake blending. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. All right, so now we have this kind of cool tie-dye snake, but you'll notice in my image it wasn't so brightly colored. And you might like this how it is, but I've been kind of digging this style lately where, all right, so I'm going to shut the color map off, and let's see, I'm going to make sure I've got the snake selected. So now I've got white as my color. Color map is off. You can see that the square is not lit up. And now if I start drawing on this, whoops. Okay, there's another mistake I made. You guys might do this too. I still had eraser mode on. Or I was still in the clear mode. So make sure you go back to normal. I'm going to undo what I had just done. And I'm going to start drawing over this. And I'm going to undo that because I forgot to pull this slider out. You'll see there's a lot of juggling. You know these videos always involve a lot of juggling. Any of the complex stuff does. Stipple's not really that... sophisticated, but you can do some stuff with it. All right. So what am I saying? Stipple's sophisticated. Sophisticated. All right, so now I'm kind of just drawing some white on top of all this, and I'm going to switch over. I'm going to get my smoke in here. Pop. Flip this around. Go on the black. So now I'm just drawing this, drawing the white over the top, and I'll make a mistake here on purpose. I didn't put my mask on, so now I'm cluttering up the mouth. We don't want that. So let's undo this. Toss my mask back on just temporarily for this spot. So now this creates kind of, I don't know, some kind of like not quite as bright, makes the rainbow not quite as apparent. Whoops. Toggle that back on there. Alright, so this is kind of good. This is good enough, I guess. Whoops. I guess I was just screwing up there. I'm going to undo some of that. Flop this around. Alright, and then the final touch that's kind of cool is I'll get this slider pretty close to the right. Maybe we'll call it about 95, 97% of the way there. And then you'll see that I end up getting this really nice white outline around things. Because again, we're drawing just up until the white, but we're not drawing the white, or the white section. So let's take a look at this. It's probably about as good as we're going to get on this video. I could go down here and erase some of this junk on the bottom. I realized that the other day when I added a feature, I screwed up a feature too. By adding the ability to draw transparent images, I kind of screwed up and made it so a lot of extra clutter just ends up on the map. So if you're watching this at around, what is this, 9/16, 9/17 today? September 17th? Yeah, there's a known bug that's got to get fixed. So, I think that's what I wanted to explain. So we have a couple of things in here. In the last one being this rainbow with the white on top of it. I think that's kind of a cool effect, but maybe that's my effect. Maybe you guys shouldn't do it, because it's mine. No, I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. But, let's see. I also used that on this, where I did that, drew it once with the rainbow color map, and then drew back on top of it again with white. And it creates a cool effect. Let's see. Let's go ahead and save. Saved image. Alright, so that should wrap it up. Give it a shot. Don't just try to do it with the snake and smoke. Try to do it with other stuff. See what you can do. Spring Things Art, she's been doing great with this stuff. So check out her page. Alright, thanks a lot.